to share my screen. I do have a very short little PowerPoint to kind of help just direct us throughout the meeting. Um, Feel free, of course, to interrupt as you see fit as we're going through this. Okay, so everyone should be seeing, I think, a PowerPoint at this point, right? Okay, so welcome everyone to the general meeting, July 31st. This is actually our first meeting for 2025 for the Virginia Association of Minority PAs. I should say the first general meeting. The board has had a meeting, but this is our first general membership meeting that we had for the year. So I'd like to welcome everyone and welcome to those who were unable to attend today. I am Kimberly Sapre. So I will jump to just a quick agenda and then get into just introducing each person on the board. So for our agenda tonight, what we have is just a really quick organization overview, just to introduce who we are again, introduce our new board members that we have. I'll hit on the membership, mentorship program briefly, talk about some fundraising updates that we have. Shola will have some updates from the education committee, and then I will talk to Fritz if he has any updates for student rep as well. So to start, I am Kimberly Sapre. Welcome. We started the Virginia Association of Minority PAs back in February 2023, so just over 2 years ago. Pretty young organization. I am joining you from Alexandria, Virginia. So I've been a PA now for 14 years. Worked mostly in emergency medicine when I worked clinically. Then at the end of 2022, I started working with an IT medical consultant. So that is what I do full time. But then I also still teach for the Shenandoah University Doctor of Medical Science program. I teach their health, equity, and justice course. And so I am the executive director, founder, and the current president of the Virginia Association of Minority PAs. And I'm very excited for this organization and the hope of the things that we can do in the future with this organization. And so I just want to have a chance for each of our board members to also do a quick introduction. And so I'll just go in the order of the screen. And so that would be Khalida being our first board member.
Good evening, everybody. I am Khalida Denoof. I've been a PA for 12 years. I am retired Army, currently work in anesthesia at the Richmond VA, and I am newly promoted to Chief PA for the Department of Anesthesiology.
Congrats, that's amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. And then I will pass it over to Tiana.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiana Sotepenra. I'm a brand new PA. I graduated from EVMS last year. I currently work in the U.S. Navy, and I am in internal medicine at the hospital. But if I go out on detachments, for example, I will be working in emergency medicine, basically wherever they send me. But my main job right now is the only PA in internal medicine. So that's fun at the moment. Happy to be here, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Tiana. And I will pass it over to Fritz.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Fritz Batiller. I'm a second-year PA student at the Macon and Joan Brown Virginia Health Sciences at Old Dominion University, formerly known as EVMS. I'm currently on rotations right now. I'm in my general surgery rotation, and it's going great. I'm happy to be here, and thank you all for coming.
All right, awesome. And then our immediate past president, Shola.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shola Ilogo. As Kimberly said, I'm immediate past president for VAMPA. I've been a PA now for over 8 years, and I practice hospital medicine, and I'm also assistant professor in community faculty at EVMS. And I love precepting students. I'm grateful to be here. I'm glad you're all here together today.
Thank you. All right, so that's our board for 2025, 2027. So just a quick overview of who we are. So like I said, we started back in February of 2023. I think our board started April, May of that year. And so pretty much the organization was started to try to give a place for underrepresented pre-PAs, PA students, PAs to have a place to come to learn about the PA profession, because as you know, I just saw a publication that said I think 85% of PAs right now are white PAs, which we know doesn't really match our country, right? So what we want is to be able to have PAs from all walks of life to help take care of patients. And so a part of what we want to do in the organization is to increase the numbers of underrepresented minorities in the PA profession. And so providing resources to those who are interested in the PA profession, those who are current PA students, even those who are practicing PAs, to have just that support system within the state of Virginia and the surrounding states. And so we hope to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion within the PA profession, provide educational resources about healthcare disparities for everyone, and then provide mentorship as well for underrepresented PAs, PA students, and pre-PAs. And I will say that the organization was started at a time where people were still somewhat excited about the words diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think we were kind of reaching what we would call the DEI fatigue stage, even in 2023. But now that we are in 2025, I will say this is a tricky situation to be in right now, with the words of DEI specifically. So that what I've started to do is try to like write out DEI everywhere to diversity, equity, and inclusion, because DEI itself has become a negative thing to say out in the atmosphere. And so that unfortunately does bring some negative vibes in the direction of any organization that's connected to DEI. But my hope is that we will work through these rough waters and come out positive on the other end. And right now, I think that the issue when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and focusing on underrepresented minorities, there's a lot of pressure, more so from the federal government. And the plus is that we're such a small organization, we don't really have to worry about those things. And so my hope is that we would not be affected by this. But it is definitely a different space to be in right now, for sure, just in general. So just to highlight a couple of past events, these are not all of the events that we've done in the past, but just to highlight some of the things that we've done over the last couple of years that you see here listed. So what we try to do are, some community events that we can try to be involved in. Just this past March, we had an endometriosis awareness event here in Northern Virginia that was on the Shenandoah Leesburg campus, where we had a film screening about endometriosis in women. And then we had a panel following that. So it was more of just education on endometriosis. We've had several virtual events. So you see the pre-PA CASPA workshop that was listed there in February. We've had a pharmaceutical dinner that Shola arranged down in the southern part of the state, along with her and I think Kalita as well also attended the American Heart Association Heart Walk last fall. We have a partnership with Village Family Outreach, which is in the southern part of the state as well. We've had several local high school visits where we do Project Access. For those who may not be familiar with Project Access, it is an event started by PAEA, I believe, but it's also an AAPA program, pretty much where PAs go into either high schools, middle schools, elementary schools to talk about the PA profession. And they actually have a presentation that's pretty much already set up for you to use to just go into these different schools to talk to students about the PA profession in the hope that you're able to reach them early. So as an organization, we have participated in quite a few of these events. And then Shola has done a great job with our fall webinar. She started the fall webinar and has kept it going each year. And so she'll talk about that in more detail a little bit later, because we do have a fall webinar coming up this year as well. So this is just to highlight a few things that we've been able to do. Like I said, it's not every single thing, but a couple of highlights of some things that we've done over the last couple of years. So our mentorship program, I'll say that when I started the organization, this was a big part of what I had in mind to do, was to try to provide mentorship for pre-PAs, especially people just interested in the PA profession, even PA students who could be, having a hard time in the program, and then early career PAs as well. I will say that this has been a more difficult program to get off the ground than I could have imagined, as so many things can be sometimes. And I will say that the biggest thing we've struggled with so far in trying to set up the mentorship program has been to find mentors, right? So we always have a lot of mentees who are interested in our mentorship program, whether they be PAs or pre-PAs, but we have struggled time after time, each time we've opened up our mentorship program, with actually finding mentors for the several pre-PAs and PA students. So if anyone has any novel ideas of how to recruit PAs for mentorship, I'd be open to it. Right now, I don't even have the application open for mentorship program, because at this point we started to gather a list, like a set of pre-PAs and PA students, but we didn't have enough PAs, practicing PAs, to take on these interested candidates for the mentorship program. So I didn't want people to keep signing up, and then we didn't have enough PAs to mentor the pre-PAs and PA students. And so I will say that we have had some mentorship over the last couple of years. I know that myself, I have had 15 mentees throughout the last couple of years that I've started just this program. I was mentoring before that. So I have tried to stay active and still mentoring pre-PAs and PA students as I can. But I will say it's hard, because there are just a lot of programs doing mentorship. I think, for one, there are just several programs that have mentorships available, or mentorship programs available. And then some have some paid programs that are available. So we can't compete with the paid programs, because what we're doing is free. And so it's pure 100% volunteering. So it can be a little difficult to compete with a paid program. But like I said, we have had mentees before. I know Shola's had some mentees. Like I said, I've had mentees. We want to keep it going, but for now, I've put it on pause until I can figure out a way to gather more PAs, practicing PAs, to be mentors to those who may be interested. So for fundraising, I will pass it over to Khalida to talk about a program that she found and started up for us.
So this is the program that I found is Kroger Community Rewards. Basically, what you do is you register your Kroger's account. So Kroger's is, Harris Teeter, it's Kroger Grocery, a few other brand names that they operate under. But when you do your shopping, you log either your phone number, or you scan your rewards card, and it automatically gives us a certain percentage of the money that you spend. We receive a check quarterly. So it does require that you register your card with the Virginia Association of Minority PAs. It has to be registered once a year. So, sometimes people have different organizations they want to support. So it does require that you go on once a year to enroll your account. But once you do that, it automatically tallies for us and sends us a check once a quarter.
Thank you. I think this is a great way for passive income because all you have to do is register your card once, swipe it whenever you're doing your grocery, and we would get a percentage of that. So that would be very helpful. Another program that is set up for us is something called Shop Raise, which is an online program. I put the QR code here. It is an online shopping website that has links to different shops where you would likely shop anyway online. But if you go through this particular link, then the Virginia Association of Minority PAs would get a portion of those funds as well. So this is more, once again, of a passive way for us to do some type of fundraising. And I have the QR code and the link that's there. So if you just were to go through those pages, shop through those pages, I think they even have an app too, then we would be able to get a percentage of those funds as well. So those are two things that we have set up so far for passive income for the organization. And I will now pass it over to Shola to talk about Education Committee. I put a couple things here and whatever else you may want to speak on, Shola.
Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate that. Adding that to the slides there. So the Education Committee consists of I and Khalida, with Fritz being a big part of it. So we really appreciate his efforts. One of the big things that we do is, as Kimberly mentioned, is a fall webinar every year. And it's attracted, I think last year we had over 80 attendees join. So this is also a great opportunity for us to get the organization out there, let people know who we are as well. So right now, our dates for the fall webinar would be September 24th and 25th, both starting at 6 p.m. So the very first day, we're going to have provider speakers. The first one's going to be suicide updates by Dr. Tawana Lotus. Now, Shani is an MP student now, but by the time of the presentation, she's going to be a certified nurse practitioner. She's going to be talking about brain on fire. So I'm really actually excited about this topic because there is a show about this. How patients that present to the hospital, and we truly cannot figure out what's going on with them. But in fact, there is a condition that it occurs in. So this would be both informative and quite I would say entertaining, but power packed, I guess would be the word I would say. So then the next day, on the Wednesday, also starting at 6 p.m., would be PA students who, and Fritz is going to be hosting that event. Primarily, we have, I think so far we have confirmed University of Lynchburg PA student, Shonda Noah, PA student, South University Richmond, and an EVMS. Thanks to Fritz for getting all of those speakers for us, and he's going to be also talking about the slides with this. As far as deadline on getting information out there, I will say we're looking towards the early next month to start to get, I would say from the first week of next month, to get some information as far as flyers going, getting the bios for our speakers and such. So we're hoping by the second week that we have something more concrete available that we can spread out on our social media networks. As far as the 24th as well, I might be hosting, or our lovely Khalida, who has done it before. So look out for that. But yeah, we're all excited to bring this back again to VAMPA.
Thank you, Shola. So I will say that this has been a great event for us each year. Shola said last year we had 80 attendees come. And this particular topic I'm excited about as well, Brain on Fire. It's also a book before they even made it into a show. So I read the book first, but it's a very interesting condition, I guess is the best way to describe it, especially for medicine. So I will now pass it over to Fritz, I didn't know if you wanted to add some more information about anything coming from the students.
Sorry. No, just the fact that I was able to recruit some PA students from um, Virginia programs we have for PA. You never know who you'll meet on rotations, and majority of the people that have agreed to speak are people that have met on rotations, and they're interested in what we do. Also, I did also take part into the project access stuff. I went to the APA conference in Denver, and I took part in that. So I look forward to setting up some projects here in Virginia with that. Also, I think MSV, the Medical Society of Virginia, they also have a program similar to that, and I've been in contact with them to try to do some things like that too. So if I hear back, I'll keep you all updated.
Sure, let us know. And then we can always have pictures too to put on our website and out on social media of the events that we're doing. So that's good work. And I think that closes out all of the set topics that I had for the meeting itself. I wanted to just have a chance to open it up to anything that I might have missed to talk about from the board. Any topics that you expected to hear about that I missed at all? Okay.
No, I think we
Oh.
pretty much covered.
Okay. The one thing I will say is right now we do have, as far as members, I think have just over 100 members right now, with only 20 to 25% being actual PAs. Most are PA students and pre-PAs right now. And so we are once again actively working to try to increase membership and awareness of the organization. And the hope is that the events that we have planned will kind of get the name out so that people know that we're here. I think that takes time in itself. We've been trying to work on it, but it does take some time to kind of get the name out there so that more and more people do know and know what we do. And one of the things that I've spoken about before with the board members, we haven't had a chance to make any movement on this. One of my projects in mind would be to eventually have some type of small scholarships for pre-PAs is my hope, because I know that application for the PA program is quite expensive, and most scholarships that are available for you once you become a PA. There are not many organizations that give money to just help with applying for the PA program, which I think in itself is a barrier. I think it's likely that money isn't often offered because you don't really know if the person's going to get accepted or not, right? So it's a little bit of a gamble when you do provide the money for application. But I think that it is an area that's lacking, right? Because it's so expensive to apply. And I think that's one area where we would be able to help those at least get over the hump of one or two applications with funds. So that is one of the projects I did have in mind for some point in the near future to provide from the organization. And I think that's all the prepared content that I have. Did anyone have any questions, comments at all?
I do want to add, when we have the VAMPA webinar, maybe that's something we can talk about as well, about donation and providing scholarships.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we can add that maybe as a bullet point somewhere around the webinar time as well. I think it's a good idea. Okay, well, I know that everyone is busy. I appreciate everyone's time tonight. This is, like I said, a recorded event. I plan to upload this to our YouTube channel that we have. And I'll have a link on our website as well once we get the recording ready. But I think that is all I have for tonight. So I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.